From Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in good spirits wherever you are in the world. And I'd like to just provide this very friendly reminder that on Saturday, May 23rd at 2020, May 23rd, 2020 at 11 p.m. Tokyo time. Let me repeat that. Saturday, May 23rd at 11 p.m. Tokyo time, we will be discussing in a live stream this film, which is called Before Sunset from the year 2004, directed by Richard Linklater. So once again, the subject of discussion with respect to the live stream, Saturday, May 23rd at 11 p.m. Tokyo time, and all the details will be in the description box below. We will be talking about Before Sunset. So if you haven't seen the film Before Sunset and you want to participate or check in with the live stream, please, there's a number of days left, so please try to watch this film if you can, if it's agreeable to your schedule. It's not a very long movie, relatively speaking. It's only about 80 minutes, according to the back of this particular Criterion Collection release. But there is a lot here, and there is a lot, I think, to be able to discuss. And so if you can, and if you're interested, it would be great to see you again this coming Saturday, May 23rd at 11 p.m. Tokyo time, Before Sunset. And there are a number of strands of comments, or there are a number of points of discussion that I will try to touch upon. For instance, the notion of memory, the notion of cyclical habits and cyclical patterns that either go parallel to what we are used to or perpendicular to what we are used to, or things that occur in nature that are either in harmony with what has happened to us in the past and present, or is otherwise in contravention with what has happened to us in the past and present. And also I spoke about memory just a few seconds ago, but also in particular about memory, how our memories seem to either guide us or they might not necessarily lead us to the proper conclusions. But this is all to say that this film, I think, creates a really vivid and poignant and bittersweet dynamic with respect to these particular characters, and I will try my best to discuss how it is I feel about this particular work. And for me, of course, more importantly, I would very much look forward to listening to what it is you have to say about this very powerful and very strong and very deep work that has many different roots in many different topics of discussion, in my view. So this is the film Before Sunset. Once again, I look forward to hearing your thoughts and comments about this extraordinary work during the live stream, so please feel free to join us. And I should say also that, as some of you may know, this film is also there's a very strong connection, let me put it that way, with an earlier film called Before Sunrise. Before Sunrise. Now, I should be very clear. I plan to talk about this film on its own merits, on its own terms, but part of that discussion will be relying on a sort of general understanding of the film Before Sunrise. And so if you haven't seen Before Sunrise, then please, and if you want to watch Before Sunset, then please watch Before Sunrise if possible. And I also had the great honor of talking about Before Sunrise in a previous live stream. It was a lot of fun. It was very fulfilling for me. And it was also great to hear your points of view on this particular film. But as you know, Before Sunset does have a connection, a number of connections, a number of very strong connections with Before Sunrise. And so my discussion of Before Sunset will be based on the assumption that there will be at least some understanding of some of the events of Before Sunrise. So I think also that I'm not sure how, I mean, I guess it's possible, but I'm not sure exactly how one, well, let me put it this way. I think in any event, if one is interested in watching Before Sunset, I think it's very useful, let me put it that way, to have seen Before Sunrise first. This is, of course, in and of itself a fantastic work, as is this, but there is a really interesting sense of connectivity between these two works, and I'll try to elaborate on this more during the live stream. Now, this is an interesting point that I've been thinking about. Do you think, is it important, do you think, to watch this film immediately prior to watching Before Sunset? Perhaps from a certain point of view, I think it might be useful to watch this film first and then immediately watch Before Sunset. However, I think it's also very interesting to maybe consider this work. Maybe you've seen Before Sunrise, but maybe it was a while ago and now you're approaching Before Sunset. My point is that as long as you've seen Before Sunrise, I think that's fine. Now, I'll leave it up to you as to how closely you'll have the two viewings. Maybe you want to watch them back to back. That's fine. But if you want to have a little bit of space or a lot of space between the viewings as well, I think that's perfectly fine. You know, one of the interesting things about Before Sunset is, as I say, the idea of memory and remembrance. And perhaps sometimes what we remember is not necessarily what corresponds to what actually happened, or it could, we don't know. So there's this idea of recollection, and recollection is not always dependent on close proximity of events. In other words, we can recollect things from the past, from the distant past, as well as from the recent past. And so when we're talking about the number of years that exist between the release of Before Sunrise and the release of Before Sunset, then I think it might be an interesting approach to maybe have seen the film but give it enough space and then watch Before Sunset. And so I'll leave it up to you as to how you want to approach this particular work vis-a-vis Before Sunrise. But again, you can have them in the viewings in close proximity or not in such close proximity. And I think either approach is perfectly acceptable. And I think either approach is fine given what it is I plan to discuss during the live stream. Once again, as long as you have a general understanding of the earlier film, I think that's very important. But that being said, my primary focus this coming Saturday will be on this extraordinary work, Before Sunset. And so if you're interested, once again, please feel free to join us on Saturday, May 23rd, 2020 at 11 p.m. Tokyo time, where it will be my pleasure, as always, my friends, to hear your thoughts and comments about this extraordinary work of art from Richard Linklater called Before Sunset. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, or until the live stream, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Once again, thank you so much for your time. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and cheers.